Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure, you know. Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure, you know. Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure, you know. Excuse me, can I? Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure, you know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Virtually BAAD. My name is Arthur Aviles. I am the co-founder and artistic director of the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance. And, as we recognize more than a year into this freaking pandemic, BAAD also recognizes the resilience of artists and during these incredibly trying times. So, it's also been more than a year since we have launched Virtually BAAD. And before we get started, BAAD would also like to gratefully acknowledge our privilege to work and also to create on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Lenape and the Siwanoy nations. So let's take a moment to give thanks to all of those who have come before us. Let's just take our hands, put them on our chests, take a deep breath in and out. BAAD is so glad that we can continue to bring art and culture to all of the great communities that are out there. And as BAAD continues in our 22nd year of programming, I'm so proud that since March 21st, 2020, BAAD has also produced about 100 online events, and it's more than 300 virtual athletic dance classes for 6 to 9-year-olds. That's called our AATT Academy. And it's right here in the Bronx. We have been doing them online, and now we're starting to do them live. 6 to 9-year-olds from the Bronx, really important. And, as we respectfully take a step back, we also need to take that step up. And since the pandemic, we have had many outdoor socially distant events, movie showings, lots of different kinds of different events outdoors, mini kiki ball, open air events and performances, and there'll be more. So we're gonna make sure that we keep to that. And our other festivals include, let's take a look at these. There's our Badass Woman Festival, that's in March. And in April, May, we have our Boogie Down Dance series, and that's April, May. And in June, we have Out Like That, which is our gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, two-spirited in the life, queer, questioning, curious, gender non-conforming, you name it festival. If you want to be something other than what the norm thinks you are, please come to our space. Let us know that you're doing what you're doing and how you represent yourself. We also have the Black Latinx performance series, and that's what's going on right now. And my battery is low, so I'm gonna put I gotta put my charger in. Otherwise, you're gonna lose me. I don't want you to lose me. So, right. So right now it's our Black Latinx performance series, and that's October, November. We're glad to have Mateo here. Then, of course, there's Los Nutcrackers, and that's a Christmas carajo, and that's a lot of fun too in December. So we're going to have that in person. So if anybody wants to come to the Bronx, also keep in touch with us. We're opening up little by little. BAAD is a space that presents works that are empowering to women, people of color, and the LGBTQ communities, and we need your support. So I have some little easy ways that you can do that. So here is Chulito. It's a book by Charles Rice Gonzalez, our executive director, and it's a beautiful book chronicling the coming of age, coming out of the closet of a young man in the Hunts Point section of the South Bronx. It's a beautiful read. You can get it anywhere, and anywhere you get it, you will be supporting our space. So get one of those. We also have these, which is our Chulo underwear. So they come in Puerto Rican. There you go. We can get them in Puerto Rican. They're also in Dominican, and we have them in other nationalities too, but that's what I have right here. And we have them in gay. So there you go, Chulo underwear and gay, lots of fun. And we also have our Badass Women Panties. There you go, Badass Women Panties, just support our space, baadbronx.org. That's BAADBRONX.org. So, and also know that you are free to use the chat box to send love notes to these artists, these incredible artists. And so, after the show, we'll play some disco music, and we're gonna, boogie down for a little bit, just for a small moment, hang out and say goodbye, to the people that you love. And also in the chat, you're gonna find today's program. So go there. All right, today's program, right? October month. It's a monthly virtual variety show curated and hosted by Chicago-born, New York City-based comediante, and that's Mateo Hurtado. Yes, he's incredible. So this very, event was originated during the quarantine, has been presented by Brown Theater Collective, La Mama, The Vortex, Coop Fund, NYU Performance Series, and the University of Illinois. So, and here we are in the Bronx. So we're presenting it now. So let's begin. And without further ado, I will give to you our gracious curator and hostess, and other, Mateo Hurtado. Hey, Mateo.
Hello, Arthur. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I'm gonna go right ahead and start this program. So for everyone watching and not watching, move your eyes to the center of the screen because we're about to get started inmediatamente. And for those who have not seen Month before, because the statistics are pretty high that you have not. I like to begin every show with a cold open sketch. And on purpose with cold open sketches, there's not much pretense and there's not much info about what you're about to fucking see. So let's get right into this cold open sketch performed by me. And this particular thread, this particular constellation of words is written by Nadir Kayat and Stephanie Germanata. Here we go. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Ha! Ha! I want to kiss you, but if I do, then I might miss you, babe. It's complicated and stupid. Got my ass squeezed by sexy Cupid. Guess he wants to play a love game. A love game, hold me and love me. Just want to touch you for a minute, maybe 3 seconds is enough for my heart to quit it. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much. Just bust that kick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or want fame? Are you in the game? Dons the love game. Play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Dons the love game. I'm on a mission and it involves some heavy touching. Yeah, you've indicated your interest. I'm educated in sex. Yes, and now I want it bad. Want it bad. A love game. Hold me and love me. Just want to touch you for a minute. Maybe 3 seconds is enough for my heart to quit it. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco. Too much. Just bust that kick. I want to take a ride and just go stick. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Don's the love game. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Don's the love game. I can see you staring there from across the block with a smile on your mouth and a hand on your heart. The story of us, it always starts the same. With the boy and the girl and a game. And a game. And a game. And a game. A love game. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Don's a love game. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Don's a love game. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. Don's the love game. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Don's the love game. Woo! Bow, 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 bow. That concludes our cold open sketch. And I'll be your solo house band because you don't have an official house band. And let's get, this is woo, doo, 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 doo. This is October month with your host, Mateo Hurtado. Oh my gosh. Poetry by Peggy Robles-Alvarado. Poetry by Carly Inghram. An interview with Brandon Rivera. An interview with Jonny Garza. An interview with Naisha Solomon. Stand-up comedy by Otto, Fernandez. And here he is, your motherfucking host, Mateo Hurtado. Oh my God. Saludos, mi gente. What's up? Testing. Hola. October month, a virtual variety show live on Zoom, presented by BAAD Bronx, and I'm your host, Mateo Hurtado. The H is silent, but I am not. Okay, there's someone screaming outside. That's ridiculous. We're gonna, shelve that. We're gonna index that for later. Anyways, okay, so non-United States of America. Let's get into it. So a few weeks ago, when I made this cute little blurb to help me describe this iteration of the show, it was merely 2 days after the Met Gala. Whoa, I think we remember the Met Gala. And fashion was on my mind. I was thinking about the Chick-fil-A font on AOC's dress. I mean, the font really wasn't that bad. It was perfectly fine font. And, but I gotta say that everyone's always on her damn case, okay? Can we fucking let her breathe, okay? And more importantly, one thing I think that we don't always talk enough about in the culture is that AOC takes away from the beauty of her own name, okay? Like, what the fuck are we gonna start calling her? AOC? AOC? I don't fucking think so, okay? So if we keep on going on that route, it's gonna be a huge disaster, okay? And it's not like we know her personally, and we're not just gonna refer to her as like, oh my gosh, my king, Alexandria, like I'm gonna take a wild guess that the general population doesn't, say that. So that's good. I'm glad we're not into that territory. But seriously, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a wonderful name. So Representative Ocasio-Cortez, we might be coming for your acronym, okay? We might stop calling you AOC because the whites are onto something, and we might have to pop that off with a machete. The phonetics of that, okay, I think we got the point of that. Amazing. So for anyone who's, as I said earlier, for anyone who's a new viewer, who's new to this program, I love to do a splash and a dash and a sash of my own performances and like comedy material to be like, what's my deal, to get like my spread. Whoa, not that kind of spread. Anyways, some of my own stuff. So I'm gonna dive into a character. This character's name is Stan Neil Johnson. Stan Neil Johnson is the host of the Country Awards. I repeat, the Country Awards, not the Country Music Awards, the Country Awards. This is Stan Neil Johnson. Here we go. Hello, my name is Stan Neil Johnson. I am, as much as possible, I am reporting live from the Country Awards. Now, I need to begin the program with thanking everyone for being here. The animals and the non-animals alike. I've been really proud that we still do the Country Awards, given that we're on a virtual stage and not a real one. Because of budget cuts and funding, we do have to keep our supposed speeches brief. So I'm gonna get right into it. I want to thank my pet Bill, which is a stack of hay, and I do want to thank my pet tractor named Rosie. So Rosie, if you're watching this on your respective Zoom device, I do thank you sincerely from the bottom of my soul and the bottom of my heart, which are two different spaces that I'll take care of with my mental and physical regimen. So that is all that I'm allowed to say because of Big Brother and everyone else in this world. So that is all for now. And I'm signing off. Once again, I'm Daniel Johnson. And I think this has been the third annual. Oh, I think I forgot how to count. This is the second annual Country Wars on Zoom. Thank you. Let. Amazing. That was Daniel Johnson. Love that motherfucker. I think he needs like a companion in the, the farm or something. I don't know. I hope he's okay. Okay. And then this is a bit, and it's called Audition. And to set up this bit, it's in direct response to the auditions from the new Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out with Chris Pratt. Okay, this is Audition. So when I auditioned for the Super Mario Brothers film, I was very nervous because I went up for the title role of Mario. It's Super Mario at that, okay? One of the brothers. And when I went into the room, I prepared as much as I could. I've read every single thing about Nintendo. I've played every single game that has ever been made from Nintendo. And the second that I walk in, they say, we don't want you to read the sides. We don't want you to read a scene from the film. First, you must answer, do you know a single thing about the Italianex culture? And I stopped in my tracks and I was about to cry because I had pulled 6 all-nighters consecutively studying Nintendo and studying the video game and studying the work. And instead, I get questioned about identity and the white authenticity of the Italian X culture. And what do I say? And I have my bow tie, I have my get up, and what do I say in the audition in response? I say, I don't know a single thing about the Italian X culture. And you know what that was? That marked the end of that audition. And I remain not booked and not blessed. And that is my audition. Whoa, that is a hot mess. That was Audition. Chévere. All right, people. So without further ado, that concludes the opening monologue. So we're gonna segue into our first guest. Coño, caramba, it's been going on for a minute. And hold on, I need to introduce our first guest though. So let me breathe a little bit. So our first guest is the author of the new YA novel 1,500 Miles from the Sun. They are on TikTok at Jonny the Author, Jonny. They are a cacti parent based in San Antonio, Texas. Much like myself, they are infatuated with Bad Bunny and also inspired by the one and only Selena. Make some noise for Jonny Garza. Hello, Jonny.
Hi, hello.
What's up? Welcome.
I truly enjoyed this whole intro. So I feel like hearing Love Game and spoken word hosted by the Bronx Arts and Academy of Arts and Dance feels just very I felt like I was in New York. That's very I've never been to New York, but that's what I feel like the entire aesthetic of the whole city is. And I got it.
So glad. So glad that you're relishing and taking in this NYC entertainment because someone has to, and that's so good. And also, your agent is based in New York, so you haven't been to New York yet?
No, I have not.
Wow, that's wild. So y'all just talk on the phone?
Yeah, basically, we send TikTok videos to each other, and that's our main form of communication.
Got it. Work. I have here in my notes that I said, imagine if I said, here's Jonny, but then that would have been terrible because that would be a very old and tired late night joke. And then I would just log off and be like, I give up. But I didn't do that.
I praise you for that.
We skipped that joke while still addressing it. We're letting it mourn, or perdón, no. We're not even grieving it. Fuck that joke. Okay, amazing. So I want to start off by saying or asking, what is your book 1500 Miles from the Sun about, for those who don't know?
Yeah, of course. So 1500 Miles from the Sun, which looks like this, is about Corpus Christi, Texas high school senior Julian, aka Jules Luna, who, after getting tremendously drunk at a party one night, accidentally comes out as gay on Twitter. And we kind of like follow the days and weeks and months that follow throughout the rest of his senior year as he sort of comes into his identity and learns all of the good and love that can come from being able to live authentically, like getting a DM from his longest Twitter crush in LA, but also the bad and the traumatic parts that can often be a part of coming out, like figuring out how to tell his homophobic dad that he's gay. And so it's just very much like Chicane coming of age, coming out story, with like some long distance love in it, some found family friends, all of that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. That's totally some of what one could expect when they read it. Totally. So one of the things I was thinking about when I was reading the book was what was the appeal, or what helped you move in the direction of deciding to set the book relatively in the present? Because, you know, there's not like pandemic stuff, but what, like, as opposed to being like, because I'm going to take a wild guess that it was somewhat far removed temporally from when you were in high school. So I guess, like, was it just to create like a gap, or was it like, or was there some other, you know, in terms of the vibe or the setting of every, or yeah. So how did you get there? I guess that's my question.
I mean, in my own head, it kind of like just takes place in like an alternate 2021 where like the pandemic never happened. Kind of like forget about it. But also like just the inspiration itself for 1500 Miles from the Sun came from lots of contemporary media like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda and On My Block and One Day at a Time, and these sort of stories about today's generations of teenagers that I really just love consuming. And I also just maintain a certain level of like saltiness, of like sodium about the most popular YA book available right now is like that centers the Mexican American Chicana experience is historical fiction. And like, as much as people who were alive in the late 80s might be insulted by that notion, like it's historical fiction. Even in other forms of media, we have like Mosquita y Mari, which I thought was phenomenal and was just so brown and sapphic and centering teenagers, but also like there was a CD player, which I kind of felt dated it a little bit. I was trying to figure out if it was like in the OOs or something like that. And so I wanted something that could be for the 16, 17, 18-year-olds experiencing now. And I think that we deserve stories that definitely span decades and even genres, but like it's also important that we have queer Chicana stories that represent today's young lives. And it's just kind of what I enjoy reading. I felt very comfortable with like the pop culture and aesthetics of today and what it is to at least be Chicana and queer today, if not a teenager. And so like this is just kind of where I feel like I'll be sticking for a while.
Got it. Word. And then what'd you say earlier about OOs? What does that stand for?
Like the like between like 2000 and like whenever.
Oh, como like the early aughts.
The aughts. I don't call them the aughts. Yeah, that thing.
Well, because what's crazy is I don't think I called them the aughts until quarantine, because I guess that's when the whole world slowed down and people were just like the 2000s, the aughts, pero. I mean, now I'm gonna think of like SpaghettiOs when I hear the OOs, pero now they are the 2000s. That's lit. Got it. So in terms of right. So to almost like to regurgitate what you said, but to like move through it. So you were talking about like the present day, the appeal was, you know, today's culture and that kind of thing. But something that I caught in the book was, and also to like situate everything, I'm from Chicago and I'm not familiar with the store H-E-B, but my question is, what the F does a Selena H-E-B grocery bag look like? Is it just like a figure of her? I have it.
I have a ton of them actually. So this is what one side looks like. And then this is what the other side looks like.
Yes.
I have a ton. If you want one, I will absolutely send one to you so you can like rock it in New York. But yeah.
I would absolutely love that. Yes.
Okay, I'll DM you later. I'll send you one.
Yeah. I'll send you my address. What's that called?
They were huge for a good moment. I know some HEBs even still have some, but like in the big cities, they lasted for like a day and that's it.
So good. I love that. Yeah, because that definitely like exceeded my expectations because I thought it was gonna be something that looks more traditionally like I don't know, like I thought it was gonna be more like I don't know, like it would have more of like a scruffy or like a dingy kind of look, but then just like a pretty figure. I don't know. I
No,
think it
it's
just
full bolsa, full like take it to the pulga with you and like all of
yes. And I'm obsessed that it says siempre. I love that. It's just perfect. So to wrap things up, my final question for you, this is like a question morphed into another question. Everything's fucking connected. But what I want to mention is, so in the book, Jules, right? Jules talks about oh wait a minute, and this is actually at Brandon, who's later on in the show. I'm not referring to Jewel Oscar like Jules, like in Chicago we say Jules. No, it's like Jules, Jules. Okay, so Jules, the main character, talks about House on Mango Street as like a classic book, but do you, Jonny, consider that a classic book?
I have some feelings recently about Sandra Cisneros that like I won't get
Yes.
into because like brave but honest, and we don't have the time to get into that. So I will just divert and say I love Bless Me Ultima.
I'm blanking a little bit. Is that simply one of her other pieces?
No, it's by Rodolfo Anaya. Like
Oh,
it's like very like campo, like this little boy trying to figure out if he wants to like make his mom happy or his dad happy by being like a worker or a priest, and there's like a magic fish involved, and I feel like there's a lot of like queerness just kind of in there somewhere.
yes.
But yeah, it's just we won't even have to talk about Sandra. Like we'll just talk about someone.
I mean, I love that you did your own type of like beautiful gowns comment, and
Yeah,
really
very
you
fast.
moved that. I love that. I love that. That's very lit, because I was gonna be like, let's talk about American Dirt, but we are significantly, we're a little short on time, so that is just fucking lit, and thank you for being on the damn show, and I'm sure we'll talk again, and just like keep being you. And also, wait a minute, what's the name of your upcoming book?
Yeah, it is called Andre and Santi We're Here, which is coming out early 2023, and was loosely inspired or driven by how angry I was that American Dirt exists. So that ties.
Wow, we love a domino effect. We love interconnected details. Well, thank you, Jonny.
Thank you so much.
See you. Chévere, chévere, chévere. That is so iconic. So now I must introduce our next guest on the program. And our next guest is a fellow Scorpio like myself, and that season is fast approaching. He's Brooklyn-based and frequently booked and blessed. Other people on social media often try to take his name. So in some instances, he is Otto _ Fernandez with the word underscore spelled out. You've seen him on Vulture, Zilla Vision, and previously on April month, Abril Mes. Please give it up for some stand-up comedy by way of Otto Fernandez. Welcome.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Yeah, I did do a brief mess in April. That was a long ass time ago. That's crazy that y'all been doing this and keeping this going. I love it. Thank you, Mateo, for having me. And yeah, I just want everyone here to take a quick look at me. Stand up a little bit. Skinny, black, glasses, afro. I'm sorry to disappoint y'all, but I am not a fan of anime. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not anti-anime. I'm just not as into it as you may appear when you ask me questions about it in the public restroom. That's not cool, man. Wait until we're outside before you ask me questions. That's all I want to say, All right, thank you for your time. No, I have more things to say, obviously. Yeah, I grew up watching different things, I grew up watching different things. I wasn't always watching anime, I watched Pokemon, so I watched like some stuff here and there. But I used to watch this show called One Tree Hill. Now, I'm going to ask this question, and I know we're all on mute, so, feel free to unmute yourselves if you want. But yeah, One Tree Hill was a show about two brothers in high school. They were the stars of the basketball team, and they were both white. So basically, One Tree Hill is a science fiction show. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, I also watched other things as well. But we're in a pandemic. It is what it is. Like, the P word. And things have opened up. So, put it in the chat, make some noise about it. Are we going back to movie theaters? Is that a thing we're doing? I'm genuinely curious. I've been going back. I've been seeing some movies that I think have been pretty good. Have y'all seen, shout out Marcus, he's been going back. Oh, the new Bond, I bet. Have y'all seen In the Heights? I'm gonna take oh, Marcus, you saw it. Okay. Now, Marcus, did you like In the Heights? You liked it. Okay. Now, see, I haven't seen In the Heights. And, and it's not because of the controversy about the lack of accurate Afro Latinx representation, but the reason I skipped In the Heights is because I knew I had a new Fast and Furious movie coming my way. And if you want to see a movie with all the ethnicities and all the races, pun intended, then see Fast 9 when you get the chance, because Vin Diesel is literally every ethnicity, okay? He's Black, he's Dutch, he's German, he's Israeli, Palestinian. Vin Diesel is a walking miracle. And you know what? I love that for him, because you can't be named Vin and just be one thing, in my opinion. Like, I remember my time. He's also the Tooth Fairy. I think you're confusing Vin Diesel with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Marcus. Thank you. Yeah, I remember my time seeing Fast 9 in theaters vividly, because the last trailer before the movie started was the trailer for the new Boss Baby movie. Do we have any Boss Baby heads in the house? You know what? I should have really taken the questions out of my set before doing this control. I can't hear anything. Oh man. But thank you for answering in the chat. Okay, so we do have some Boss Baby heads in the house. Yeah. Another movie I haven't seen. I haven't seen a single Boss Baby movie. I'm sorry. It's just not appealing. Oh, what's Boss Baby? Arthur's asking. Boss Baby is an animated feature film about a baby who's a boss or a boss who's a baby. It can go either way. But with animated films in general, I feel like they're made just because the producers got A-list actors to voice whatever character. For instance, do you know who the new voice of Boss Baby is? Kevin Spacey. Yeah, I know. When asked about this, the producers were like, yeah, Kevin Spacey. He has experience with kids. This joke doesn't hit the same when I can't hear the disgust. I love that joke. I'm gonna keep telling it, but it's just like, it's really like, I can imagine y'all going in your little Zoom corner. So I'll take that. Thank you for the love. I'll stick with the movies, man. Like, listen, I'm tired of seeing Black trauma movies. I'll see a Black trauma movie. I'm just tired of them just being like put out all the time, because like it's cool seeing Black people in POC, in sci-fi fantasy stuff. It's cool seeing more of that. But now we're at the point where we're getting, Black trauma sci-fi stuff. Like there's this short film that won the Oscar for best short film, and I'll break down the plot. Think Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, but instead of Bill Murray as a weatherman, you have Joey Badass as a Black man, obviously, and he's getting shot by the police, and that's the day he has to relive over and over again, which is crazy to me, because Black people getting shot by the police isn't science or fiction. So how did y'all How did y'all swing that? I'm curious about that. You know, I was watching this movie the other night and I thought, oh, here we go. It's going to be another Black trauma fest. I'll give you the plot for this one as well. They kidnap my man from his homeland. They chain him up. They get him on a ship and they're going to take him to their home country to do their labor for them. Now, here's where the movie gets good. And I'm like, oh, I'm all in now. Okay. He gets free and he starts just beating up everybody. So I highly recommend that you all see Godzilla versus Kong. Look, man, white people been calling Black people apes and monkeys forever, and you're gonna expect me not to identify with a GOC, a gorilla of computer-generated images? Yeah, that was worth it. That was worth it. Okay, I got a little under a minute, so I'm just gonna do a quick thing. I want to have more fun. My new goal in life is to have more fun than the Taliban. We all saw the video of the Taliban taking over Afghanistan and then dancing to Drake. That was a crazy moment, but it happened. They were dancing to 2017 Drake, In My Feelings, that song. And I'm like, man, that's cool. Good for them. But then this is where I got pissed off. There was another video of the Taliban riding a carousel. They were riding cute little horses, the merry-go-round. They were doing that, which is crazy to me because I have a friend who manages a carousel and I have yet to visit. And I'm like, yo, is the Taliban just doing a bunch of things that I should be doing? Are they visiting my friends at their job? Are they, cutting back on alcohol? Are they, I don't know, budgeting their money? Like, what are they, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Taliban, put me on, son. Stop stealing my shit. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I'm Otto Fernandez. Thank y'all for having me, and make some noise in the chat or in real life in your rooms for Mateo. Thank y'all.
Yes, thank you, Otto. Oh my goodness, and give it up for the Taliban living their best life, but also Otto living his best life, honey. Amazing, 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 amazing. That was already fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go right up into this, mess and introduce our next guest. And also, there's not like a mutant attacking me. This is simply like a sartorial edition. Okay, so I saw our next guest most recently at the literal home of revered poet and mutual friend of ours, Urayowan Noel. She is an alum of Pratt Institute with an MFA in Performance and Performance Studies, the same institute where her and I met when I was #visiting. You've seen her perform poetry across the solar system and through her writing via her new publication platform, or her new-ish publication platform, La Libreta. Much like she frequently proclaims, magic making is not for pendejas. And what you're about to witness will prove that she does everything except play games. Here is some poetry from the most exquisite Peggy Robles-Alvarado.
Woo!
Vaya, saludo mi gente. Thank you, BAAD in the Bronx. And thank you, Mateo, for inviting me. And thank you, Otto, for that beautiful introduction. So we're gonna get started because I got 3 poems for you. And the first one is in response to everyone who's asked a Latinx or Latine poet to perform during Hispanic Heritage Month. Like we can't do anything else. When asked to perform for Hispanic Heritage Month, when you come, be sure to trill the R's in your last name. Use words like café con leche, caramelo, trigueño, but not negro. Please don't make us say Latinx. Tell us about being a teen mom. Tell us about your drug dealing cousins. Don't tell us about being the first to go to college. Don't mention you work 3 jobs. Don't mention you had your own apartment at 17. Tell us funny stories about owning plastic covered sofas. Tell us about WIC checks and EBT cards. Can you wear a native costume? Can you dress in the colors of your flag? Can you code switch for authenticity? Can you have us all say, huepa? Can you be spicy but not too hot? Do you have any stories about making sancocho on a budget? Tell us about the first time your cousin saw snow. Don't tell us about your father being a US citizen. Don't tell us how he retired with 2 full pensions. Tell us how he pulled himself up by the bootstraps. Tell us how he was running numbers when he met your mom. Don't tell us how your mother refused to be on public assistance. Don't tell us how she almost miscarried after pressing the foot pedal of a sewing machine for too many hours without a lunch break. Tell us about your mom learning English in a church basement. Tell us how you learned to speak American in an English-only class. Can you have us all say curse words that make us laugh? Can you speak loud enough to engage the audience, but not too loud to sound threatening? Can you smile for the funders? Can you wave at the department chair? Can you hold that grin for the photos? Can you just smile? Can you perk that lip and cover those teeth so if anyone asks, we can say, look, she liked it. So yeah, we can do more than just Hispanic Heritage Month, por favor. Like there are other months in the year. And this next poem, I really think that the national anthem should be revised to include the people that actually built the country. So this next poem is titled, Let's Rewrite the National Anthem. Give it a thunderous drum bass that circles the heartbeat core of the earth, resurrecting native tribes that heal with hoop dances, reclaiming fertile lands as birthright. Give it the steady hum of a Negro spiritual, toppling monuments of Confederate soldiers, pulsing the ground with a path to a new freedom chant with true justice and peace. Give it a hook that's straight up fire, scorching the earth of plantations, turn posh wedding destinations, letting each flame birth a new forest of trees whose roots and leaves have never been soaked in blood. Give it some mariachi violins and trumpets, pulling heartbreak from the deepest part of the belly into an that can breach border walls, reuniting children with their parents seeking asylum. Give it some Congo Square bambula root rhythm, some Lower East Side bomba con barriles, with men pivoting to wide-hipped women in white skirts who know Puerto Ricans are citizens too. Give it a 3-2 son clave, pa, 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 with accented immigrant lyrics, seasoned code switching stanzas, multilingual verses that sound best when we sing them off key. Give it a sweet fried plantain remix, a barrio basement hooky party grind, a deep tribal house that buckles knees and pulls star-spangled flags hanging from belt loops to wave overhead like carnaval. Give it the true soul of America, built with black and brown hands that can really sing, Esto aquí, be the land of the free. This be the home of our brave. And I'm gonna end with this last piece because I think joy and love are also forms of resistance and resiliency. And I think we have to remember joy at all moments. And this piece is actually dedicated to my cousin and his wife, but this is also dedicated to anybody who's fallen in love on a dance floor or who has seen people fall in love on a dance floor. Y todo comenzó bailando. ¿Por qué es que todo lo bueno empieza con un par de caribeños bailando? That's what she thought when she met him. Their bodies wrapped in cosa buena y sudor. El amor empezando con punta fina en la pista, todo latiendo en sí y sentimiento. Ella es mujer completa de corazón abierto. She exhaled a yes, making her body a guide rather than a border, her hands a map of lifelines he must learn to read. She added his touch to her pulse and called it vida nueva. She will teach him that being soft is a compliment, that the first time she called him mi cielo, she meant it, that her body is a roadmap to his God y su vientre es una bendición que él se ha ganado. Benditas sean las mujeres that love as loudly as she does, bachateando pegadito y rogándole a Dios al oído, sabiendo que este es el amor que faltaba para ella y sus futuros hijos, creando una familia de merengueros, cariñoso rumbero that she can claim as hers. Él es perico ripiao, ritmo corriente como un verano en Nueva York. Él es fuerte abrazo, remedio casero de cariño, el can, can, tirirín, can de todas las fiestas. His fire is necessary passion of life. Cuando baila la tierra tiembla de alegría y los cuerpos piden, dame luz. Only he knows how to translate the architecture of her spine. Set his ears to breastbone and decipher the beating of her heart. He will teach her to curl his lips into dame so she can respond with toma. He will teach her to want is not to harm and that she is ready to let his name and the word safe rest on her shoulders, to let him add his sun to her sky. He is tabaco y ron, dembow con reggaetón, potente como Brugal de Mallita, con una fuerte sonrisa que ilumina calle luna y calle sol. Y como dicen que todo comenzó bailando, they will continue to sidestep and strut, pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito, letting their bodies lead them into a perfect combination of one. Porque sabemos que todo lo bueno empieza con dos caribeños bailando. Thank you so much, Mateo. Thank you, BAAD from the Bronx, Boogie Bronx.
Thank you, Peggy. OMG, muchísimas gracias. Okay, everyone. So next up, what's about to go down is our next guest. Okay, I guess I brought in some Stanley Johnson. Stan, it's a different show. Okay, so our next guest has performed at Lincoln Park High School, 16th Street Theater, Steep Theater Company in Chicago, Illinois, where he is an ensemble member, Institute for Creativity in downtown Champaign, and also inebriated at AKT with Donovan Diaz and Nick Narcissi, most likely years ago, among other venues in real life and online. Rivera lent his voice to Nancy Garcia Losa's audio play Brava, helmed by Laura Baker. And this month you cannot catch him in person performing at the Goodman Theater in 2 stage readings because they are both sold out, honey, until further notice. Please welcome to the program my old friend, Brandon Rivera.
Oh my God. Not the Lincoln Park High School shout out.
I had to leave with that.
Well, I went to a restaurant the other day, and the server was talking to us and they were like, oh, like I'm from Chicago. And I'm like, oh, me too. And they're like, what CPS high school did you go to? And I said, Lincoln Park. And they're like, LP, me too. And I'm like, when did you graduate? And they were like, 2018. Y'all can drink? Like, how are you serving me alcohol right now? What is going on? But so yeah, so thank you for reminding me about Lincoln Park High School.
So wild. And I feel like you should have pretended that you worked for some kind of like agency or something to like, you know, report him and be like, well, you know, you can't serve me alcohol. Mathematically, that doesn't add up. Yeah. That's
that would have been a really fun and fair thing to do during a pandemic.
Exactly. Hashtag revoke staff members of their jobs. Okay. You know, hashtag de-employee. That's not a term. It could be. Amazing. So for those who don't know, I summoned Brandon, you know, for many reasons, because, you know, he's a star, but also today we're going to talk about this program, this TV show called The Other Two, which is on HBO Max. And I particularly have been, you know, some people say gooped, some people say obsessed by season 2. And I think I can mostly take the lead, but we can tag team describing what the show is about. So how I understand the premise of The Other Two, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's about this, it imagines this world where it follows a story similar to the trajectory of Justin Bieber, where he was super young, he, you know, rose to fame, he was a music star, that kind of thing. But The Other Two is different, where it also zooms in on the 2 siblings who were in his life in this, you know, music star's young life, that are less famous or less, dazzling, so to speak, and they're just kind of like there. So the other two is about like some 220 somethings who are the older siblings of this kid who skyrockets to fame, and kind of raises the question, like, what happens when you're just kind of like in the periphery of the limelight, and how does hilarity like come alive? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's white excellence.
Yes, it is white excellence. And also the cast really does, support that notion, because, like Molly Shannon, SNL legend, plays the mom, Pat. And that's actually a fun segue into, I bring her up later. Anyway, so the first question, or the first like talking point about season 2 is that mid to late season 2, there's this like bizarre pseudo-religious like Soho House type of elite cult, and main characters check it out, and it might lead to like casting in a big movie, or just kind of like fame, or just like things that some of the 2 less popular characters want or whatever. So that happens, and they kind of temporarily join a cult. So my question for you, Brandon, is have you been in a cult or something similar to a cult?
Wow. No, Mateo, I have not. I feel like if you're in a cult, do you know you're in a cult? Like it's after you leave the cult that you know you're in a cult, right? So I might be in one right now, but
do you want to spill any details of what kind of cult you think you're in? Or you can't
I sure don't. I can't speak.
Okay. We love the intrigue, and maybe those people in that cult are watching this, and you probably don't want to reveal what the vibe is. Wow. Okay. So the second talking point is that okay, so this is a scenario where we're dreaming up a hypothetical moment where, let's say that you, Brandon, are in the same position as Pat in season 2, the mom, where she is like living this amazing life of having this big talk show and that kind of thing. She also like sleeps in increments while she's standing up because she has such a crazy lifestyle. And there's like that funny moment she like sneezes snores while she's with her eyes open or some shit. Anyways, but then that leads me into the question, if you were Pat at that age with your own big show, who would be the other 2 people in your life that are like the supporting characters? Do you have anyone that would be like, oh, this person and this person? It doesn't have to be familial, but is there anyone in your life would be like the 2 supporting roles?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I watch the show, I think Molly Shannon like does a brilliant job at like being this like neurotic mom who like loves her kids so much, but who's like living this dream of like having this talk show. But then it's really her daughter who pushes her to do all of these other things, and she like strips who she is, and like so yeah, so like Molly Shannon's like portrayal, like I am laughing, but then she'll do one thing and I am like in tears, like crying. Like
exactly
it's so like heartbreaking. I don't know, like it was raised by a single mom, so I think of like my mom and my brother as like being but also like it could be my besties, and like
I love
that. Like this idea of like living in the shadow of other people that the other 2 brings on is really feels relevant.
I see. It's a very
but like as the like show goes on, and like as life goes on, like other people like rise while other people fall, so like that dynamic shifts of like who is like leading and who is like feeling like, where am I?
Exacto. Yeah. And also that's why I was so excited to bring up this show, because I'm like, I feel like I'm in that theater and comedy world, and just kind of like dips and darts and goes back and forth. And yeah, I'm sure that we could both just kind of like, jump into somewhere mentally of like, oh fuck, this toggling of relevancy, which is terrifying, but also sometimes lit. Yeah. So I really am enough of a space cadet where I can't ever, grasp time, but I do have a third prepared and final talking point for all of us, or for you and I, rather. So towards the end of the season, Carrie, also, I never think of his name as Carrie. I just think of his name is Drew, because I know like of the actor Drew Tarver, who plays like the older brother, who's the actor in the show. Anyways, towards the end of the season, he's like gay baited by this big like name or whatever, this big star in the show. So my question for you is, do you have a straight actor whose queer performance do you actually enjoy, whether it's in TV or stage or film history and all of time?
Wow. I mean, well, there are so many to choose from.
Got it, yeah.
Because as we know, cis straight people play queer roles better than queer people can.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I mean, Robin Williams kind of eats it up in Tu Wong Fu. Oh, I mean, John Leguizamo eats it up in Tu Wong Fu. Entire cast. Tu Wong Fu. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Would love to see like a stage remake of it with like maybe actual queer people and actual drag queens, but like that movie's kind of sickening.
Yeah. I mean, what's gravely embarrassing is that I either barely know it or have not watched it from start to finish, but it sounds like that's my weekend homework.
Mateo, you have not seen Tu Wong Fu with John Leguizamo playing Chichi Rodriguez?
I know of the film and I know of La Gran John Leguizamo, but I need the...
What is going on at BAAD and why have you not seen it? I'm disappointed. I want to log off.
Oh my gosh, I want to lock myself off, but unfortunately that's impossible. And also we're not in that tech world or phase yet where I can't just like program the movie into my brain. We're not there yet. We need the chip, the pill. But the Matrix is being remade, so we're getting closer, or you know, the Matrix is being brought back. Also, Arthur, we love you. I think Brandon was saying a little gentle. We love the Puerto Rican playfulness of all of this. So, you know, I have a sense that we're out of time, but it was so good to chat with you. Oh, wait a minute. Even though it's sold out, which 2 readings are you going to be in Chicago? Where can people see you in real life if they're lucky enough to get in?
Sure. Yeah. So it's in 2 weeks at the Goodman Theater, the new playwrights unit. So it's 2 classes. They've got like 4 up and coming playwrights who develop a play at the Goodman for a year. And so this is a week-long play festival of them. So one is called Rust by Nancy Garcia Loza, who is a Mexican playwright from Chicago. And then the other is called You Deserve to Be Here by Alex Lubisher. So yeah, I'm doing that. And then I'll be doing a show with First Floor Theater at the beginning of 2022 called Botticelli in the Fire.
Yes.
Yeah, so doing that.
So exciting. So that's where you, the audience / the world, can see Brandon next. And thanks for being on the show and take care.
Having me.
Bye. Amazing. Wow, we love conversation in this house. So now I must introduce our next guest. Our next guest is the author of the newly published, hot off the presses poetry book, The Animal Indoors. She teaches children in the Bronx, and she is an alum of Month, specifically March Month. Danae, another moniker for our next guest, was my former roommate right off of the Gates J Stop, in which we ceremoniously ate Taco Bell on our roof from time to time. Her formative years occurred in none other than the suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. And without further ado, here she is with some poetry, Carly Inghram. Woo!
I know. And hello. So yeah, this is my book, The Animal Indoors. Like Mateo said, it came out like last week. Yay. And I'll read some poems from here. So this is the first poem in the book. It's called Assured Environment. Do the fields grow up from your shoulders in the wet earth? Last night, I held skin for the first time, and it was not pretty. The pumpkin patch is filled with diamonds, but we don't care. The trash is spilling over from our yard, but we don't care. I envy the good bones in the garden, the labor in the many unseen places. It is unlikely for the current situation to proceed like this. Suddenly, listening is less of a knife. The locks to the outside doors are placed on each of our heavens, but loosely, like wetted hair. What I'm trying to understand is when I look at fear, I know she is not there. But when I turn back, all of the blood armies have fences. All of the tiled knives have doors, and all of my selves are buried inside the non-living sea. This one is called For a Moment, Everything is Small and Familiar. I put on my yelling cheetah shirt and the Miami tailgate guy says, "Wanna fuck?" The room is loud, lifting us out of our chairs and onto the playing field. I follow the stairs with my eyes like they are gonna take me somewhere just by looking. I am remembering where I got those cut-off jean shorts I had on. I took them from a friend I thought was gorgeous, not sexually, just like physically formed by wealth and generous flowers. I had sprayed my hair, labored with the curling iron, and dark lined my eyes. I had no hair except on my pussy, which was always my little secret. I thought about what would happen if someone opened my panties and found I wasn't a woman the way I should be. I liked the thought of letting my leg hairs grow out so long I could braid them, watching them sway in a river as I sat shoeless. Now I'm on a flat of green beside the water. I met her there. She swept her hair away from my face, and I swam through the freshness in her eyes. I knew her name, though she never said it. We were rolling through the dirt, hands in each other's hair, and her body became the orchard all around. In the freezer aisle at Costco, I ran into a homosexual wearing a steadfast floral crown. It looked like the plastic Kmart flowers I smelled in October after not quite getting over her. The scouters for the TV shows people watch to outlive themselves came up to me, and I began to audition. The part began as a role for a super dyke and turned into a role for a femme wearing lace-up boots. The homosexual passing by us in the store knew me well from other auditions and passing time, posted up in each other's souls and calling ourselves the names of oceans and drainage companies. We be spilling over and out. The terms and conditions for the show were written on a river's path. We went outside to walk the path. At first, eating at the steps, I felt myself still the owner, but soon I felt myself moving quite without knowing yesterday was not beginning. Even the gold chains must go to sleep as they hang their fate underground. Each vendor's face holding the same worn in, "You look hungry, are you okay?" look. I leave the visions of gold a bit hysterical and enter a night of loud karaoke. The girl on stage is a regular. She has trendy bangs and stained teeth and is glamorous in the way only sadness can be. The curve of wanting stuns me. I cannot go beyond it. I keep passing by the underground gold chains, laughing at the bulk of the need, how erosion shines. The karaoke singer begins sobbing tears of rain and water, blowing like autumn. I do not think to chase love into her body, with my hand or even to look her way. I think only of her eyes squinting at the heavy stage light, angry at the weight of her limbs. I imagine time has passed, so I'll read like 2 short ones. This one is called What Sort of Animal Are You? All the women were washing at the creek, at the sink, at the large communal basin at the center of town, walking on, hands tied behind their backs and bushy sleeves. They did not have an answer to the question. Still at the tailgate, the man asks, "What part of me too do you secretly dress in each day?" The cat lady next door is sad about loving and bruises, about stones and wolves. The collected news and the warm, weathered Republican wastebasket. We enemy the crowds, borrowing each belief we solidly consume. And this is the last one I'll read. It's called Trivia. Did you know jealousy was a time before us? We snowsuit and Tostito our way into the future. The romantics, flinging their salt shakers, said they do it for love. We walk into the exhibit knowing love has come upon us. The toy cars zipping around their mini lanes, chasing to the stoplight's edge, jamming up, time, and circling back around. All of their love is spilling over us now. The railing outside our historical museum scares us into seeing leaves and sky and air. As the clotting continues, beautiful and beautiful days sway and then tilt. An infection of the mind is still holding the people as I might conjure them. Industry and her smooth legs and her pear-shaped filters, her loving arms, and how she bounced that ass up and down. The end.
Thank you, Carly. Ba-bam. All right, everyone. So now I will bring on our final guest on the show. So our final guest is a sonic archivist, a scholar who writes about killing men. She was raised in Trinidad and Tobago and is currently based in Brooklyn. Last year, she was a panelist on the virtually live endurance performance art piece, Salt, Fat, Ashes, Heat by Eva Margarita. And our final guest and I were classmates at NYU under the thought tutelage of Alexandra T. Vasquez. Naisha Solomon is the co-creator of the COVID-19 Community Care Mixtape. I'm going to say the title again, the COVID-19 Community Care Mixtape. And I think her birthday passed already. Make some noise for Naisha Solomon. Woo! Hello, Naisha.
Me. I'm Mateo.
Hello.
How you doing, boo?
I am riding the wave of the energy of the show. You know, I feel like different peaks and valleys, different ranges of energy, different you know, subject matters to the rest. It's a fucking variety show. So that's what it is, a variety. And you know, now we're shifting gears into talking about your work. And the first question I want to bring up is, what was your role in the creation of the mixtape for those who don't know? And I guess more specifically, I would like to add, what was the role like of you in action, collaborating and making this mixtape come together?
I can answer that. So I'm co-creator. Of course, this was we thought up the idea because we were trying to figure out, myself and Amanda Chonley, who's my partner in crime.
Mhm.
Thought up the idea because we needed to find a final research project that was not going to suck the life out of us. we're both singers. We both have a deep love of music. We're both really interested in like sound investigation, the origins of like, music genres that have emerged through colonialism, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ways. So that of course, requires a certain amount of like, well, research, right? We have to go figure out the origins, we have to follow the storylines. We also had to like cast nets out to our communities. So we're doing interviewing. I'm responsible for all of that, of course. We really shared the workload equally. There was
Mm-hmm.
a journal article as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd say is a little bit different is that Amanda Chanley, who has mixed heritage, she's a white passing person, however, and I am not. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
right? and uh, and so my particular perspective kind of aided in kind of decoding what decolonial sound is in just a different lived experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it, got it, got it. And then if I understand correctly, the way that the mixtape was crafted, it also consisted of other co-conspirators chiming in with like the song selection, right? Like different people were so it was almost like a shared listening too, right? In terms of how that all was woven together.
Completely. So again, most of everything that's in the mixtape has either been like asked for by a community member. I mean, we reached
Mm-hmm.
professors. We were both a part of Batala, which is all female Brazilian drumline. We casting that out there. Like, what are you guys listening to right now to get through this? You know. So, yeah, I mean, I also have a network of community organizers. So I'm asking organizers like myself who are like on the ground during, in 2020, doing all of this relief work. And what are you listening to?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love this because it's kind of like, isn't all research work some kind of like detective work of like, but what are we, or yeah, or it's like, what's not being picked up or what's not on our sonic radar. So I love that you have to be like, fill us in on, what's there and how can we listen together, which is exciting. So the second question that feels like it's in this mix is well, I guess the mix of this conversation, I mean, so Questlove, we know and love Questlove. It's a podcast called Questlove Supreme, and in his discussion with Angelique Kidjo, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. When they were talking about, they were striking up a conversation. She was a guest on the podcast, and they were talking about Aretha Franklin. And I think Questlove was saying something along the lines of like, "Are you ever intimidated when you perform? Like, can you think of a time you were starstruck, or can you think of a time when performance felt very daunting for you?" And then Questlove kind of prefaced it being like, "I don't think you ever would, but was there a time?" And then Angelique was like, "Oh, actually, there was one time for sure when I saw Aretha Franklin perform, because Angelique talked about Aretha's voice as something that was like a force of nature. And she went in further to say that, the vocal control and the technique was its own force of nature, and that every word came out because it had to, which I think is a very like, force, not, or like powerful, yeah, a powerful way to think about that kind of thing. So then my question for you to think about, that the way that she arrived at Aretha, I want to ask you, what types of sound or noise or music needed to be released or unleashed in this mixtape? What are some, descriptors or splashes or remnants of, what folks can like expect perhaps in the mixtape?
Yeah. It's crazy that the question makes me like place like exactly like when the mixtape project started, because we had the idea like at the beginning of the year, but that was before knowledge of the pandemic happened. So it just turned out to be this critical
No.
work, right? So then
Yeah, yeah.
to answer the question, everything was important.
Wow, yeah.
Right? um I guess like the majority, when I think about like the feelings or the emotions that like are trying to be or like calling to be like taken care of when I listen to the mixtape, is that people are looking for peace, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of angry tracks on on the mixtape. You know, shout out to C Murders Down for My Niggas, which is on the and the I encourage you guys to please check out the liner notes because explain everything. It's there for you. But anyway, yeah, so there's like all this anger, like, you know, frustration. Of course, the mixtape was released like very soon after George Floyd's murder. So there's like, you know, a collective mourning, you know, people trying to address like self-care within your four walls. Big feeling. That's like that's evident with like Solange's work that's on the mixtape. You know, goes on the mixtape. Of course, there are all these examples of like, you know, black joy and resistance to colonialism, and you know, a great song on the mixtape that really speaks to that is Three Canals Blue. They are queer rapso group. Rapso is basically people. A lot of people argue that it's like the predecessor to calypso and soca.
Got it.
So like, and of course, you know, calypso, tambu bamboo, all of that, you know, these are art forms that and instruments that slaves, formerly enslaved people, specifically made in emancipation, right? Carnival too, right? All of that. All right, we're free now, like bye, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are just a couple songs. Oh, there's another song that's like a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
1 second, I need to. It's a really long name. Okay, right. So it's a hip hop track that features this Native American group. It's called the Virus Landback. It's at like I think it's like around the 3 minute mark on the mix, and it's by a tribe called Red, and it features the Chippewa Travelers. It's amazing. It's like it's just all energy, you know. There's also like the silence on the mixtape. There's like a minute, and it's, you know, honoring like all their lives lost due to police brutality, especially in 2020. You know, there's a little soundscape action going on, you know, nature healing vibes, you know, just to name a few. Yes,
so good. I mean, I love that you know, you started off by saying that like everything is important, and then when you talked about the sound descriptions, you know, all of those different textures have their own type of flair or connection to the everyday in such an urgent way. So I love that that the urgent also is like reformulated or like breathing with like breath itself, or like, you know, relaxation and that being its own connection, and you know, or making it about music as its own self-care and, you know, collective breathing y todo eso. So love that. That's super incredible. What was I gonna say? So hold on. Blah 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 blah. My brain's like buzzing. It's like da, 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 da. So I think in terms of like what I prepared to talk about, that's basically it. So how I want to conclude everything before the sound cue plays is pretty much, there's this moment, I believe it's like, I don't think you and I talked about this earlier, but what I remember is that it's like, I think like in the 16-minute mark or somewhere around the 14-minute mark, like that general time frame, when there's almost just like a testimony of someone talking about, if I understood correctly, something about like their gender transition y todo eso, and like their own self-care as a way of putting their needs first as opposed to someone else's and that kind of thing. So we're gonna collectively listen to that in a few moments. Pero yeah, I flagged that and I was like, whoa, that is captivating. That is something that's its own type of declaration that I think is really helpful to hear, even though it's like heavy and even though it's like, you know, what we might consider like morbid or something, it's like, but it's still real, or it's still captivating.
It has to be said, right? It has to be said, because to deny it is even worse.
Yes. Right? Yeah, that closing off of the passage is you know, even worse, that denial. So thank you so much, Naisha, for chatting, and we shall conclude with an excerpt from the mixtape.
Right now, you enough right now. Take your time, free your mind, and you can find peace of mind. Redefine and realign. Deep inside, we divine. It can't rain forever. won't feel this pain forever. I promise you can change for better. It's okay to change. Just change for better.
For a long time, I blamed myself for a lot of the things that happened to me. And because I was doing that, I wasn't able to let go of them. And I was really just carrying the weight of these really fucked up situations that I've been in. And I think a lot of my journey has been, giving myself the care and need that I need based on only what I need and not based on anything else. Because so much of my childhood was about conforming to these ideas of what it means to be a person. And because of that, I wasn't able to fully love myself because I didn't fit what my parents wanted me to be, what this fucked up society wanted me to be. In my early adulthood, as I started transitioning, it was really important for me that I just create space for me to be truthful to myself about the things that I'm carrying, and in doing that, letting go of the past and giving honor to who it is that I wanted to be as a young person. And my self-compassion was just contacting myself when I was younger in order to tell myself that it's okay to be me.
I love that.
Amazing stuff. What amazing stuff. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Naisha. That was a taste of the COVID-19 community mixtape. You can find that on Naisha's bio. Perdón, in the link in her bio. Where can you find you on social media again? It's at badman.night.
That's right. At badman.night.
So captivating and amazing. Well, that concludes month, and I want to I want to thank Bad Bronx for hosting or presenting month, and I want to thank all my amazing guests for being so damn iconic and stunning. I've been your host, Mateo Hurtado, and I want to ricochet it back to Arthur. Woo!
Okay, thank you so much, Mateo. Thank you so much. You and your incredible friends, we're so grateful to you. Wow, I mean, that just blew me away, All right, so we need to keep doing this together. You're brilliant, and we would love to continue our relationship. And hey, people, my name is Arthur Aviles. I'm the director, artistic director of BAAD, Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance, here saying hello, and such amazing magic. BAAD is so grateful. I just want to thank all of the incredible artists for letting us know what's up in these incredibly trying times. You're making me laugh like crazy. It's too much. You're killing me. And so, I'm grateful. So if anyone out there likes, you might donate to badbronx.org. And we'd also like to thank our BAAD team right here at Virtually BAAD, BAAD's technical coordinator, Emmanuel Delgado. We are so grateful to the rest of our BAAD team, Deputy Director Marcus Gualberto, and then there's our very own administrative assistant, Josiah Vasquez. And tonight's show was a part of our annual Black Latinx performance series. And you can see it again and again because this is recorded. And those recordings of what people did tonight were freaking hilarious. And we are so in love with them. And we hope that they would also resonate throughout the world, as we know that they do. And there'll be more here at BAAD, so please stay tuned. Virtually, hybrid, outdoor combinations, and now we have special indoor combinations. So Mateo, we're gonna do indoor sometime, and because we're there, we're working on it. It's a crazy world, and we need to transform it, and it will happen. So next up, BAAD, Black Latinx Performance Series has the Hemispheric Institute. visiting BAAD. And here it is. It's the Naked Vanguard. That's me back in the day, back in 1992. That's right. And it's the they have collected my BAAD archives. That is the Hemispheric Institute at NYU, and that's October 13th. It's an online event. So check it out at badbronx.org. There's also Pepatian, and let's see if I find that here. There it is. It is Dancing Futures Artists in Residency. So come experience, Kayla Hamilton in person right here at BAAD, October 14th, 7:30 p.m. Kayla and Mayfield Brooks share, their artistic processes through this pandemic, and they're going to guide us through the embodiment of selected movement descriptions and Kayla's forthcoming book. And then what else do we have? Let me see. This is the next thing: a twist in perception and intergalactic satisfactions, an interdisciplinary musical romp through storytelling. That's written, composed, performed, video by Vir Amicus. And that's October 15th at 8 p.m. That's going to be a virtual event here at BAAD. And then we have Luis Lara, and Luis Lara is incredible. Leave the room. It's a shared, evening works of gender non-conforming, queer gender, queer, non-binary women and trans artists of color. It's organized and curated by Luis. So try to come to that. That's going to be in the house, so come on to that. The Blood on My Whites. Let me see if I can find that here. There it is. It's hip hop music and performance that attempts to make sense of the fears that we're all facing today. And then there's the happy hour with Charles Rice Gonzalez reading of his book. There's a artist in residency. There's a Halloween event. You could win some prizes let me see if I can find it somewhere around it. There it is. It's on our outdoor stage, Mateo. So we could do things outdoors. It's on a stage called Little Stage Surrounded by Faggots. So if you're interested, Woo! You will see the faggots surrounding the stage, and we will all congregate there for our Halloween event. You could win some prizes. There's money involved. I don't know if that matters to anybody. So that's hosted by local drag queens Apollonia Cruz, Viveka Westwood. So stay tuned, everybody. Now we're going to turn on the disco ball. We're going to play some music. And if you like, you can stay for a moment and, boogie down a little bit. So with a kiss and a wave and a snap of my fingers, you can say goodbye whenever you like. So like I said, you are welcome to chat all the love notes to each other that you'd like. And with all that said, okay, Arthur, you got to shut up and dance. Mateo, thank you so much. We are so grateful to you. Please, we've got to do more of these because you're killing it.
Thank you so much.
So grateful to you. So we're going to ask the BAAD DJ to just take it away and hang out.